So before we get into the main mechanics of the move, let's understand the basic principle of how isolated works, or what is the real secret behind isolated, for which we are using the 4 twos. And the main secret or the key ingredient of the isolated move is a breather crimp. So I have applied breather crimp to these 4 cards. So let's look at that, and I'll also show you how to apply the breather crimp. So you can just pick up a deck, take out a card, and hold the card at the center like this, with the fingers on the front like this on the face, and the thumb on the back. You press downward so that these two corners move upwards like this, and slide your thumb across the card on both left and right corners like this. Do the same thing in the other direction. So basically you have done this once and twice. So now if the camera sees, like an X kind of thing has formed on the back of the card. So if I hold all 4 of these cards, or on which I have already applied the breather crimp, so you should be able to see an X kind of formation on each of these cards. So let me show you one by one. It's a very minor X. If you can apply, and then now it should be clearly visible. Same thing I'll do for the other card. And the first card that we did the breather crimp on. So it's for the video I've made it so prominent that it's cleanly visible, but when I'm doing it in real, it's a very gentle breather crimp that I apply. So it's not even a complete X. So I'm not sure if the camera catches it completely, because this is a very soft breather crimp, and only to help you understand on video, so the camera also sees it perfectly, I have applied a very prominent breather crimp on the back on this card. You can see a huge X. So once you have applied the breather crimp, or basically crimped 4 cards, so it can be any 4 cards, I prefer to use the 4 twos, because this is basically a 4 of kind which normally no one ever selects. So normally people go for aces, queens, jacks, or any other thing, but I have never seen anyone go for the 4 twos. Now next what we'll do is, so you can follow along with me, it's easier that way. Just pick up the twos one by one and put them in 4 different parts of the deck, like this. And if you don't hold the deck too tightly, you can see this auto break which is forming. So when you relax the grip on the deck, this 1, 2, 3 and 4 breaks which are forming automatically in the deck, which is basically where your twos are. First one, the second one, the third and the fourth. So it's completely automatic. Now when spectators or your audience selects any 4 of kind, okay, you can even do it with 4 random cards as well, and each card can be signed. But let's take the 4 aces. So I'll just take out 1, 2, 3 and the 4th ace. So you can just casually toss the deck to the side, show the 4 aces, and keeping them in alternating color is better. You can hand out the 4 aces to be examined because these are completely clean. And then what you're going to say is, okay, now let's lose these cards somewhere in the deck. Pick up one of the aces and place them just above the 2. Do it with the next ace as well. Same thing with the third ace above the 2, and the fourth ace above the 2. So now it becomes below the 2 and now it is above the 2. So just remember this: ace and the crimped card, ace and the crimped card, ace and the crimped card, ace and the crimped card. Now one key thing to remember is when you're holding the deck and squaring it, square it like this with applying slight pressure with your fingers so that everything looks completely clean. So I am applying pressure on the entire deck, because if I keep a relaxed grip like this, people can see breaks. I don't want that. So I hold the deck firm and tight, and then I can show cleanly on all four sides, like, okay. So you're just trying to show that everything is clean and completely fair, and then you can just dribble the cards, and then you just hold the deck with these two corners. You can even hold it from the center. I'll just keep it like this and then just toss the deck. So when you're tossing the deck, it's extremely important that you don't hold the deck too high. Okay, you need to be very close to the table, very close, like a nail, which is like what, 1 inch maybe, something like that. So you're barely off the table or off the ground, and then you throw the deck. And when you're throwing the deck, it's like a sliding action. If I'm doing it for a single card, I'm not doing this. I'm just taking the card and sliding it like this. So if you go back and look at the trailer where I am doing the same thing with the audience, okay, the first thing that I'm doing is I am instructing them that how are they supposed to throw the deck. So that's very important. So if you're doing this trick where you want your spectators to throw the deck, and then the packet should cut automatically to locate the 4 aces or the 4 of a kind, whichever you have selected or they have selected, it's extremely important, extremely crucial that you guide them on how they are supposed to throw the deck. So before they even throw the deck, you show them with the tuck case or whatever you have in your hand. So the best thing to do is you show them with a single card or with a card case or the card box itself of how they are supposed to throw the case or throw the cards, and then you do a counter like 1, 2, throw. So they know that they are not supposed to throw until you tell them to. So when you do that, you ask them to throw. So let's try this. 1, 2, and at 3 when you throw, so it breaks 1, 2, 3 and 4. Let's try that again. So without disrupting the setup, let's do that again. So you hold and throw. So 1, 2, 3. And let's see. That's the first ace. That's the second ace. The third ace. And the fourth ace. So the best part about this trick or the best part about isolated is it will work 100% of the time, every time. Whether you do it or you make your spectators do it, there is no way possible that the trick is not going to work. Plus, not only you can do it, but you can also make your spectators do it. And in my opinion, there is no effect or no magic which is more stronger when it is done by the spectator or it happens in the spectator's hands. And this is one of those tricks. So it's one of my absolute favorites because it's worker material. You can perform it for real life audiences. It works every time, 100% of the time. No sleight of hand, absolutely zero sleight of hand. And it doesn't have any angle issues. So if someone is watching even from underneath, from left, right, front, besides you, behind you, 360 degrees, it is angle free and angle proof. So let's look at this one more time. So let me do this face up for you. So ace and 2, ace and 2, ace and 2, ace and 2. So let's see what happens when you do this trick face up. Of course, you're not supposed to do this face up, but let's see what happens. So you go 1, 2, 3. So you can clearly see the 2 and the ace, 2 and the ace, 2 and the ace, 2 and the ace. So I did this very gently. So if you're doing it at proper speed and force, something like this. So you can all see the crimped cuts, 2, 2, 2. So all the X's are visible. I'm not sure if the camera sees it, but it's clearly visible right now when I'm seeing that. And all the aces are right next to the 2. So it is very, very obvious what's happening. So this was only to help you understand how or why this trick works the way it works. Of course, you're supposed to do it face down, but this was only to help you understand how the trick works. So let's look at that again when I throw the deck now from this side. So let's do this. 1, 2, and then you can see 1, 2, 3, and 4. So it's extremely, extremely visual. Looks impossible, especially when especially when you allow the spectators to do it themselves, because they have no clue what is going to happen. All they know is you have handed them the deck, which is supposed to be a completely shuffled deck of cards, and you just ask them to throw. So they don't know what is going to happen, and when this happens, when it breaks into 4 packets like this, it hits them like, okay, something has happened which is crazy. And then you ask them to turn the top cards of each of those 4 packets one by one, and this is a complete shocker for them. So make the most of it. So since this involves barely any sleight of hand, you can easily focus on your presentation and make the trick as impactful as possible with whatever story that you want to use. So let's look at isolated from a different angle. So now what I have done here is I have done the setup, this time for the 4 kings in alternating colors of black, red, black, red. So you can show like this, close up everything, push the kings cleanly inside. You can even do it one by one if you want to, and then dribble. So it looks extremely clean and fair. Then we can show all 4 sides. So I'm holding the deck tightly and not relaxed like this. So I'm holding it tight, so it looks completely clean from all sides. Square the deck and you can cleanly show both back and front. And then you do the throw move. So you do 1, 2, and 3. This is the first king, second king, third king, and the fourth. So let's look at that once again. This time using the spinsolation concept. So spinsolation move is basically where I throw the cards and the cards revolve and break into 4 packets. Same method. You're just going to throw and spin. So 1, 2, and 3. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, and 4. So let's look at isolated again. This time we'll do it a bit differently. So we'll do it almost as we did earlier, same process. But what we're going to do is the last packet or the top packet is going to have the king of diamonds. So I've put the final packet to the side. So now we have the king of diamonds on top of the deck. So now when I throw the deck, it's going to break into exact 4 packets. So watch this. So I throw. You can ignore the single card. And if you see, on each packet we have produced or cut to exactly the 4 kings. So when you do the isolated move, like the original method, so it cuts first place, the second place, third, and fourth. So have fun with this one, guys. It's one of my absolute favorite tricks to perform all the time. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a message on my Facebook account @Vivek Singhi, or you can always shoot me a DM on my Instagram account, which is Magic Encarta. That's MAGICENCARTA. So I hope you guys have fun with it. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, practice, perfect, perform.